2008 was such a fun year for WWE, and with what better way to kick it off than with the Royal Rumble? We probably always do come back to the Royal Rumble for, that moment, but this Royal Rumble was still a very special night. It was still very cool to just see, what they had going on in this Rumble. From the opening match to even the mid-card. Yes, this Rumble was such an interesting one. I just wanted to look back on the Rumble of '08 and just kind of talk about it. So the show starts off with Ric Flair versus MVP. Now, this match was pretty simple because it was just more so just a story behind it because of the fact that Ric Flair was, during the time, having to wrestle every match, and if he lost a match, then he would be forced to retire. And of course, obviously seeing Ric Flair here, it just kind of is crazy to think, this was really one of his last matches in WWE to watch. Now, obviously, to me, this match was pretty cool to see, and this is why, when I could sit back and say, hey, I grew up with Ric Flair. I grew up watching Ric Flair in 2008, and MVP was actually really underrated back then. A lot of people tend to kind of sleep on MVP, I feel like, but he was actually a really cool wrestler for what he was trying to be. Ric Flair ends up winning, and then he continues to wrestle up until WrestleMania, and it was Chris Jericho versus JBL. This match was really cool because it felt very, personal. And it's all because Randy Orton threw Chris Jericho into JBL while JBL was on commentary and knocked JBL down. And so JBL said,
"It became personal with me."
This match was really cool, though, because of just the simple fact that these two were pretty much going at it. And it even got to the point where Jericho was bleeding. And it really just was cool to see how busted open he was. Got to this point where Jericho was even trying to choke JBL out because JBL was actually choking Jericho out weeks prior to the whole build-up and whatnot. So it was actually pretty funny. And that's pretty much how the match ended. Jericho got himself disqualified with the chair shot. And it was kind of undecided, really. Rey Mysterio versus Edge. The whole match with this was simple, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, growing up, Rey Mysterio is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I never really cared for Edge when I was younger until just a few years ago where I really started to appreciate Edge and really started to understand, man, Edge is actually a pretty good heel. He's actually one of the best heels in the company. This was actually, back at the time, one of my favorite matches ever that I used to watch. So Rey Mysterio and Edge had their match, and the whole story with this was really simple too, because it was just more so just a testament of, okay, so Edge has been kind of cheating his way around the system. He's been with Vicky Guerrero. He wants to marry her. It was just funny to see how Rey Mysterio took digs at Vicky and Edge. And Vicky used to really drive me nuts during this time in WWE. I could not stand her voice. Now, obviously, I was a little disappointed to see Edge win on this one because I felt like Rey Mysterio should have won this one. But I also realized, looking back at the whole entire time now, it actually makes sense because of the fact that Edge was going to go on to WrestleMania, and he was going to defend his title against Undertaker. Vicky actually got knocked off the apron, and it was actually kind of funny, and she was, in this wheelchair. So then we get to the Maria segment, which, I'm going to be honest, y'all, I'm not even going to talk about this segment, because this segment was really, really strange. So, if you guys want to look that up, go ahead. I mean, some of you probably have already seen this, but this scene and segment was really weird with Maria, Ashley, and Santino. So then we finally get to the WWE Championship match. Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. Randy Orton during the time was the WWE Champion ever since October, and ever since October of 2007, and he was holding the championship, and everybody was praying that Jeff Hardy was going to stop this man's reign of terror, and he was going to be the one to take down Randy Orton. Jeff Hardy just wanted to basically become the WWE Championship, and so he was contending to go against Randy Orton. There were even points with this whole build-up to this match where Randy Orton would even take it really personal, and he'd go after Matt Hardy, he'd punt him, and whatnot. It was really interesting, and there's even this one part, too, where Jeff Hardy's on the top of the stage, and he does a swanton bomb, and literally jumped off the stage and went to Randy Orton, and they were both taken out. That was the whole build-up, but the actual match itself, It was pretty chill. I mean, a twist of fate, it reversed into a RKO was honestly one of the coolest things ever. I think everybody wanted Jeff Hardy to win this match, but I mean, Randy Orton held this title for a little longer, so sadly, it is what it is. All right, now we finally get to the Rumble, the iconic Royal Rumble of 2008. So first person comes out is The Undertaker. Second person to come out was Shawn Michaels. And just like the year before, the last two of the Royal Rumble of '07, and now here they are being the first two of the '08 Royal Rumble. And what's kind of interesting too is Undertaker won the '07 Rumble, so they were even talking about that. Like, what if Undertaker was the one to win '08 Rumble? So yeah, so the match just kind of went on. You know, these two basically would just go after each other. You had your occasional Kane and Batista and John Morrison, Tommy Dreamer, and we had some legends like Jimmy Snuka and Roddy Piper, which was really fun to see. And then it even did get to a point where they even had Mark Henry and Big Daddy V coming in. Hornswoggle showed up. It didn't really start picking up, I felt like, up until Triple H came out. Because there were some people there where it was like, okay, like, who really cares about this person? But Triple H came out, business picked up, as JR would say. And obviously, Triple H cleared a little bit of house. But everybody knows exactly what made this night so special. John Cena returned, and this is without a doubt the best Royal Rumble moment ever. I don't care what anybody says. I remember watching this when I was like 4, and I still remember it vividly of when he returned. You know, JR's losing his mind. The whole entire audience is losing its mind. The whole action in the ring stopped. And this moment was just so special because of just the fact that nobody knew about John Cena returning. This whole entire moment of where he returned was all kept secret. John Cena wasn't even supposed to be back at this time, but he was Superman and he came back to the Rumble. Triple H looks like he just saw a ghost. John Cena gets in the ring, he starts clearing more house, and then him and Triple H have a face-off, and then they start going after each other. Like, yeah, we started off strong with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, and once they eventually got eliminated, it just kind of was like, oh man, all do we really have? But then we see, like, okay, Triple H is here, John Cena's here, Batista was here, and these three had a face-off, which was really cool. And it's really cool to know, too, because Cena and Triple H had their WrestleMania 22 bout. John Cena and Batista were the final two of the Rumble of '05, and Triple H and Batista had their WrestleMania 21 feud as well. So it's just really cool to see how, in a way, all the storylines were kind of crossing over in a way, in some way. We had the three biggest stars, in my opinion, during this time: John Cena, Batista, and Triple H. Obviously, Batista was the first one to go, and then it just came down to John Cena and Triple H. And then, of course, you know, these two were going back and forth for a minute until John Cena finally eliminated Triple H. And you know what's really funny is I really feel like as if this is why Triple H booked Cena's whole entire retirement run the way he did, because of the way that Triple H lost to Cena. I mean, obviously that's a story for a whole different day, y'all, but man, this entire Rumble was just so cool. And then Cena was going to go to WrestleMania. Like I said, everybody remembers the Rumble for this moment, especially. Yeah, of course, the Rumble would have been cool if Batista or Triple H won, or even if Undertaker or Shawn Michaels won, hypothetically. But realistically, seeing John Cena come back and return, like, when he wasn't even supposed to come back, it just was such a special moment. But that's really all I have to say for this video, guys. What do you guys think about the Rumble of 2008? Was it your favorite Rumble? Let me know down below in the comments below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.